excited to have Sce Pike from IOTAS. She's the CEO and founder. Thank you very much for joining today.
Thank you for having me, Lee. As you mentioned, IOTAS stands for IoT as a service. And so initially we're going after multifamily home industry. And what we're looking at is a smart home platform, but really meant for the smart building. So it's not a singularly focused platform that goes after residents or users. And it's not DIY. It actually comes pre-built into the apartments and allows for residents to have just move in and get ready to go. You have a smart home that does lights, outlets, thermostats, door locks, you name it. But from a multi-access perspective, it allows for the building owners to be able to control vacant units, common areas, and also do simple move in, move out, and reset all those devices for every new tenant that's coming into that space as well. And then they also have the ability to control some level of like leak sensors, for example, that allow them to prevent leaks. Also from access security perspective, monitor building access into their buildings as well. So it's a multimodal smart home tool that's actually meant for smart buildings.
I love the multimodal part of it. So, and the platform side, and actually never even thought of what IOTAS stood for. So glad to for you to clear that up as a service. So as you look at the marketplace, and it's a hot area right now. There's a lot of attention towards the space, and multifamily as a whole is a growing vertical that a lot of people are focused on. As far as your organization, if you had, what is that special thing that differentiates you from everybody else?
Sure. So I think the main thing that differentiates us is that, we have been fundamentally designed to be a software company. So as a service company, so we're doing lots of software integrations and user experience focus. So my background is user experience. My co-founder's background is in AI machine learning, right? So we knew that what was going to be really impactful from both the residents' experience as well as the building owner's experience is to provide level of intelligence and insights and analytics of the building, and how things can correlate with things that may not be part of the building, for example. So one of the things that we're starting to do is correlate active usage, so daily active usage or monthly active usage of smart homes to longer term retention of residents. So the more they may be using smart home in that particular building, do they also tend to stay longer in the building, and there's a longer retention because they're happier in the building, right? So that's one aspect of it, but there's also analysis that we're starting to do of like really understanding how people create communities in a building as well. So for us, the fundamentals is not just, hey, we're here to turn on and off lights or monitor locks or let people into their building or turn it on off like thermostats. That's baseline. That's the basic of what a smart home, smart building should do. The next real level of differentiation is, can your building do this? Like, can your building tell you when you should hold happy hour or when you should do maintenance? Can your building tell you when your residents are happy or not? Can your building actually help your residents create community with each other because they can share scenes and routines that they may have created that may help save the environment, right? Things that they care about. So a recent study, I think it came out of BizNow, showed that millennials, actually the Gen Y, the Gen Zs that are coming up, what they really care about is affordability, of course, but also community. Being able to live in a space that actually gives them a sense of community, because they're not just living at home, they may be working from home. Heck, I mean, this week we're all working from home at our office. We shut down our office for coronavirus, which is fun. But it's more than just a space that is now like where you lie down and go to sleep. It's actually a space where you interact and you socialize and you work. And so we want to make that more of the part of the overall experience of what a smart home can do and should be, and extend that into a smart community.
You triggered on something that is new, and I think is part of this sort of change that's happening, is that where you work is not only just where you work, and where you live is not only where you work. It's a blend So the ability to enhance that experience and for it to be able to transform based off of how the user is living and working or just being, and adding value in those areas is something that smart products do. It's hard for connected products to do.
Exactly. And so like we have several communities that have multiple buildings, for example, right? So they may have like 7 to 11 buildings on their overall property. So to be able to understand, like in certain times of day, maybe this building is very empty, right? So maybe you're being the least disruptive to your tenants if you actually go do maintenance or yard work or whatever it is around that building at that time versus a different time of day for a different building, right? Because if I'm working from home, the last thing I want is a lawnmower or a leaf blower outside my window, and making a lot of noise. And so those are all things that we're starting to see and consider and give options and insights into to the building owners to have them understand what is the best way to operate. But on top of that, the ability for residents to be able to really participate in a community by sharing a little bit of how they might live, right, as well. So environmental concerns, I think, is a big one for the upcoming generation because God knows what they're going to inherit in 50 years in terms of planet. And what we're seeing is that it's not about saving $5 on my electric bill or whatever, $10 on my electric bill. It's about what can they do to participate in making an impact, making an environmental impact. And so if they can share, or we can identify who's saving the most, right, in terms of energy usage. And we ask them, hey, do you want to share with the rest of the community what you've set up in your home in automated routines or automated scenes that makes your home so efficient and how you're living, so that if that one person can share that routine and another person can adopt that routine in that same community because all the floor plans are the same, then there is some sense of like shared community responsibility, right? It just changes the dynamic of a community.
I love it. So it's definitely building stuff for today, but then also tomorrow. And we build these communities, and it's like people then move into them, and then we forget about that it's still a community. So this can maybe bring some of that together. I love it. So if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do so?
Easy way is to get to contact@iotaschome.com, or you can tweet me. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on LinkedIn. Just search my first name and last name. It's pretty unique. I'm pretty easy to get hold of.
Well, thank you for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate getting to know the company a little bit better and yourself. And if there's anything you need, let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee.